Hey everyone, Coty here, and today we're going to be doing a abstract painting with acrylic. Now this painting, the technique we're going to use today is based on an artist that I found on Instagram. His name is Tomas Hammar. He's actually out of Sweden, and I think the guy is immensely talented, and he makes these medium to large abstracts with large kind of splotches of color, and he uses sponges to do his abstract. So I actually recorded a video earlier, and because it's so hot, like I've said in my other videos, my phone actually shut off in the middle of recording, so I didn't get to finish recording. So I'm recording later at night, hoping that it doesn't happen again. So here I actually made an example of the type of painting that we'll be making today. So you can kind of see, I didn't make it exactly because I've never really done the technique, but it's an interesting painting. But he does these like sweeping brush strokes almost with the sponge so that you can kind of see the layers. There's a lot of layers because he really stacks the paint on, and then you see like the brush strokes. Now the problem with this painting right here is I use too many differing colors, so it's a little kind of all over the place. So that is kind of the issue with this one, but you know, this is kind of an idea of what we'll be doing today. All right, so the colors I've got are red, brown, turquoise, black, and white. And I'm hoping that we can kind of pull this off. So here's the sponge I'll be using, and I've got some water over here off to the side. So we're going to be keeping the sponge damp, but not super wet. So let's move all these out of the way, and we'll get this damp and kind of get it ready to paint. And I have a towel here, and we'll begin. So what Thomas does, and I've only seen a couple of short videos of him painting, so I don't know the technique exactly, but I know that he does like kind of large sections usually of the colors, and then kind of makes smaller sections over it as he goes. So that's what we're going to attempt to accomplish here. Now I want this turquoise kind of on top, and I don't really have any other turquoise. It looks like I've got some light blues, so maybe we could kind of do that. Oh, I found some more turquoise. Woohoo! Okay, so what we're going to do is we'll start with the turquoise. Actually, I'm wondering if I should start with white, just because the sponge is going to get dirty. Let's go ahead and let's start with some darker colors. So I'm thinking we'll do like a brown, turquoise, and black in the background, and then we'll kind of lighten it up as we go. So let's go ahead and start off with our turquoise. So I noticed that he kind of has like a countertop or something that he puts his paint on, but we're going to use wax paper, even though, you know, my table is obviously quite decorated. But anyway, we're going to use that. So then what we're going to do is, I know that he kind of does these large brush strokes, so we're going to use the wide side of the sponge here, and we're actually going to pick up a lot of the color. So he uses like a lot of paint, like these very thick kind of brush strokes here, and I imagine he uses a lot of paint. When I saw the videos, it looked like the piles were quite large, but it's very cool because it creates almost this like natural look to the painting. So it is pretty cool. All right, so we've got that. I do want a little bit more turquoise on here, maybe like in this area, and we'll try to balance it out. So I'm going to add a little bit more turquoise. We're going to see if we can kind of get it stretched out here. And the mistake I made with the other one is that I made the little patches too small. Ideally, you would kind of make them smaller as you went up, but I started off too small, so it kind of created a challenge. It presented a challenge of trying to fill the gaps. So we want to try to avoid that. So he also does kind of these sharp like edges. So I think he kind of like works it so that it's almost like sharp, right? And then just kind of does these kind of sweeping brush strokes almost. Yeah, that actually looks pretty darn cool. So we're going to bring this off all the way to the edge. We're going to leave some of that brush stroke in there. And we're going to leave some of the edge in there. And you kind of almost want these like thick layers right here. So you can kind of see it's like stacking on itself. So we kind of do want that. So I noticed that he also has like these sharp edges. So because of the sharp edge of the sponge, he actually has these like almost like mountains kind of, or you know, different varied edges, I guess. All right, so we're gonna give turquoise a rest for now. And we're going to move on to another color. So I'm thinking we'll move right into, let's do brown and then black, because black is a little bit darker, so it'll kind of sit on top. So I'm just kind of working this paint out, and then I'm gonna really give it a nice squeeze, make sure we got kind of all the paint off of it. I'll probably just wipe it off real quick just to make sure we got all the paint off. All right, so I think we're pretty good on that. Actually, I have a lot of turquoise left over. I don't know if it's gonna dry. Let's see. You know what? I've got another brush. No, I want to use the same one. We're gonna use the same one. Okay, I didn't realize I had so much turquoise left over, and because it's so warm in here, I think it's gonna dry. So if I don't use it, so let's see if we can kind of maybe do this right here. Yeah. So we'll just kind of like stack it right here. So we'll just maybe do a sharp edge here and just kind of bring it down. Yeah, I really like how it creates that kind of hard edge. I really like that a lot, actually. And you can see this a lot in his work, which I will link to in the description area. I will link to his Instagram. All right, so there's a little bit on here. I'm just gonna wipe it off. I plan on trying to maybe do a little bit more turquoise in a little bit, like after we work in some other colors. All right, so we've got the turquoise in there. I am gonna put white on top. You know, we'll kind of float it, so we'll kind of come back to that. All right, so we're good there. Let's see if we can kind of clean this brush out. Now, I'm sure he probably uses different brushes or sponges. I think he has like a whole thing of them, like a whole slew of them. I actually only have one that's kind of like sharp edge like this. So unfortunately for me, I'm going to have to keep using the same one. All the other sponges I have are like rounded. Okay, it's fine. We're going to move on. Let's do, the brown next so that we can kind of float that on top, and then as we move up, we'll kind of do the white and the red, and maybe more turquoise if we need it. All right, so same thing with the brown. I probably should have put it on the other side so I could pull it that way, but it is what it is. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and kind of fill this with the paint. We're gonna get a nice thick glob of it, and we're gonna fill in this area, right? And then we're gonna kind of go over some of that, but I do want it to dry. So I'm going to kind of maybe pull that down and give it a little bit of character down here. So I'm gonna kind of arc it, right? But then maybe bring it down here so it's a straight edge right there. Kind of gather up a little bit more paint and cover up these this turquoise here, and just kind of give it like a sharp point almost. And just kind of fill in some of the white. Okay, we've got like a hard edge. We can kind of go over that maybe with a different color. Let's bring in a little bit more brown, maybe right here, and just maybe cover up some of this and fill that in. And well, you know what? I'm not afraid to use it all up. I don't really care. I don't use the brown a whole lot. So let's go ahead and let's maybe chop into this one. right? So maybe we'll kind of bring that down. So we're kind of bringing in that one, and we'll kind of work it into that. Right now, I got a little bit of turquoise in there. I'm going to try to get rid of it, because we're not to the point where I want to mix. Okay, so all right, we've got that, and we've got that on there. I'm trying to work that out. There we go. We'll kind of get rid of that. And I think we could probably, I don't want to dominate that corner with that, because I'm not trying to do necessarily the same colors in the corner. So we're going to actually give brown a rest, and we'll move into black. Black will kind of cover that, and we'll kind of fill that in this little area, I think, with black, and then that will probably be red. So we'll do black up in this corner, probably in this section here too, and we'll see about down here, but we'll kind of fill in some of these gaps. But overall, so far, I do like it. I really like the kind of sharp edges that his paintings have. And like I said, the one mistake I made with the first one is that I had too many colors. I'm trying to avoid that with this one. All right, so I think I've got a lot of the moisture out of it. I'm gonna kind of wipe my hand off and the sponge to make sure I get all the loose paint off. All right, I think we're good. All right, so let's go ahead and move into black and just make sure I'm still recording. That is very important. All right, take that black off and we'll kind of fill in this area. All right, pick up a lot of this paint here and we'll just kind of, let's maybe chop into it. So let's do maybe just a straight line right here. And kind of fill this in. And we're just going to float this paint on top, and we're definitely going to need some more. It looks like I'm using a lot, and the answer is that I am using a lot, because we're just kind of resting it on top. We're not trying to mix them. We're not trying to push into the other layer a lot. And so just gonna kind of bring that down. And I'm gonna fill in any of these little gaps here. All right, so we've got that. And I'm gonna just kind of bring that down. And you know what? What I'm going to do is I'm going to sharpen this up. So I'm going to grab some more of this paint here. We're going to float this on top, right? And then we're going to kind of bring this down and just kind of fade it into the black here. All right, so we've got a solid block up there. That's okay for now. And we're gonna try to just kind of bring this up, and we're gonna bring this up at an angle, maybe straight up. Yeah, that's actually pretty good. I like that. So I'm gonna try to bring that up a little bit more to kind of fill in this white space that we got here. Maybe just kind of bring that this way. So pick up some more of that, and then we'll just kind of make a hard edge here. That kind of okay. So we've got all that. Now we can kind of maybe move into the red. We'll kind of float the red over it. clean this bad boy out. Doesn't look like much now, but I think it will once we kind of bring in some of these other colors and start kind of making some more sharp edges. We definitely still need the white in here, which maybe I'll do white now instead of, I was going to do it after the red, but maybe we'll do some white now and kind of lighten it up and see what it looks like. All right, so we've got our sponge clean enough, I suppose. And let's go ahead and put our white paint up here. Now you can see I got it on the painting, but that's okay. We're it's actually gonna put the white up there anyway. So we're just gonna kind of float that. And let's put some more on there. Oops. Now, actually, one of the things that Thomas does is he does mix some of the colors together to kind of blend them. So I'm gonna just do that. Give it like a kind of work that in. All right, so we've got a little patch of white. Let's kind of maybe sweep that in. I'm gonna take up a big portion of it here. So I really want to kind of work that in. And so I'm gonna fill in this area over here. Oh no. Okay, well, I guess we'll be filling that in. So let's kind of work that. And actually, there's white, so maybe I have an idea. So we've already got black and white on there. Let's see if we can kind of maybe mix these into a gray here. So let's, we've got still some white in here. I'm gonna add a little bit more. Okay. And then we're gonna go ahead and put the black in there and kind of work it in. And we'll see if we can maybe pick this white up. All right, so we're gonna work these colors together. And it's cool, it's got these little lines in it. So let's go ahead and see if we can pick it up and maybe use it. So all right, I don't think that really added anything. I don't think that helped. I think that actually kind of hurt it. But we're gonna leave it. You know what? We're just practicing, and it's not like I've mastered this technique or have done it before. Actually, before I messed up that other one that didn't record. So honestly, it's not bad, and we can add the red to it. I don't know that the red's gonna help at all, but it's okay. You know, we're kind of learning together here, and that's kind of what we do here. So we will clean out our sponge, and I'm out of room for the paint. So what I'll do is I'm gonna go ahead and fold this over, and I'm gonna put my red paint here. I have a joke for you. What is red and smells like blue paint? Red paint. All right, so we've got our red here. Now, and this is why this guy, Thomas, this is his, method. That's why he's kind of the master at this. He knows what he's doing. I don't know what I'm doing, I'm just kind of doing it based on some, couple short videos that I saw. And this is why when you look at a painting, you might think, hey, I could do that. That looks easy. But then you go to do it, and it's not as easy as you think. I mean, you just don't know the intricacies of that style like that person does. So, all right, let's kind of bring this down. Oh, I didn't expect it to pick up that black, so let's just kind of bring that. Well, the slash isn't too bad, but it does have like a lot of this excess. So let's see if we can kind of maybe bring that. And well, let's add a little bit more red. Let's see if we can kind of get this. Let's see if we can fill this in, just so we don't have any white space. If the painting doesn't turn out perfect, that's okay. We're learning together, people. All right, I'm gonna actually try to work this black in that it picked up. And I've got a lot of extra paint right there. So let's yeah. Just trying to fill in these gaps here. Actually, the red slash isn't that bad. I'm trying to work this out. And I'm gonna turn this sideways and kind of layer that. So, and then let's see if we can work this out. Okay, that actually pulled it in a little bit, so that's kind of cool. So, I wonder if we can maybe do a little bit more white down here and kind of pull those together. And then maybe do a little bit more turquoise and call it a day. I don't know, I feel like the red is helping. So, let's just pick that up. I already know it's going to pick up some of these other colors, but I'm gonna put some more red in this. I feel like the red is kind of where it's at, and my paint is almost out, so it doesn't want to come out. All right, let's clear that up. Let's pick up the glob here, and where do you think we should put it? Up here, down here? Let's kind of make a statement right here. Kind of going against the grain here. Yeah, you know what? Let's sharpen this out and kind of bring it down so it looks like it's kind of all one thing. Okay, well that's actually kind of cool. It looks like it's floating here. Like it looks like it's floating on this. So I'm gonna bring that down to the bottom. That's kind of cool. Now I feel like the only thing that's neglected is that corner. But see, if I do white, I already have white there. So it's almost like it's kind of offsetting itself. So I wonder, actually, you know what? Why don't we just extend the white? Because if we bring the white over, then we can kind of fill in this gap here, fill in the white, maybe make a sharp white kind of movement, and bring the white over here and just kind of go over all this to kind of tie it in and then call it a day. So that's what we're going to do, folks. We're going to do our last one with white, and this thing is disgusting. So I don't have any more square sponges, unfortunately. I only have kind of a rounded one, so we're not going to be able to do, I don't think, the sharp edge there, but we can try to at least maybe bring this together. So let's go ahead and do our last couple layers here. We'll really just kind of make this paint work here. All right, we'll pick that up, and we're really going to kind of kind of bring it across. And of course, we picked up some of the black there. Just want solid color. Yeah, it's going to tie it in. So I guess it's kind of unavoidable. Let's see if I can kind of wipe it off. Yeah, it's going to pick it up. Darn. Well, I don't think I have a choice. I'm just going to keep adding to it. I suppose if I let it dry, it probably wouldn't be that way. But it is what it is. So we'll kind of just do that. I'm going to flip it over. Well, it looks like crap. So let's go ahead and just maybe kind of tie it in. Well, I mean, it gives it a little movement. Not exactly what I was hoping for, but that's okay. I think it'll be all right. Oh, it keeps splashing here. There's no winning. All right, well, let's go ahead and mix that in. Maybe get a gray going. And it picked up some red somewhere. That's cool too, I guess. And let's maybe do a sharp drop here. Oh, it's picking up the black on the edge here. Yeah, and it's all muddy now, unfortunately. Oh, it picked up the red from the top. Alright, well, alright, so our colors got too muddy at the end. I'm guessing, you know, you kind of have to let some of these layers dry before you can continue to add to them, which makes sense. Tomas generally does like a bigger kind of surface, so you have that time for those areas to dry before you move on to something else. So that probably helps. But you know what? It's not too bad. It's actually better than I kind of thought. But you kind of get an idea of the technique, right? So I think if you kind of really messed around with the technique, you could probably get it. I do want to try to fix one little area, which is the red. So I'm just going to have this little corner of a brush or sponge that I have and just kind of fade that in. Okay, so there we go. That kind of fades a little bit of that. Maybe bring some of this through. Sharpen some of this up. Okay. All right. Well, you know, it's kind of a fun thing to do. And let's go ahead and peel the tape and see what it got us. Because I'm just as interested in seeing it as you are. And I have to say, this painter's tape is definitely better than masking tape when it comes to pulling it off and not ripping the paper as much. Still rips it a little bit, but it's not tearing it in half, I guess. Oh, there it is. Now it tore it. Okay, so let's take a look here and see what we got. So, kind of limited on how far I can go with this mic plugged in. Let's see if I can loosen this cord. Okay, so that is the final piece right there. You know, if the white areas like were a little cleaner, right? It was like a clean color and it wasn't so muddy. Actually, it wouldn't be that bad. It is actually kind of cool. The gray is okay. I think if I mixed it a little more, it would have been a little cleaner. And even this this area at the top, the colors I think are fine. I ended up covering up a lot of the brown. You do kind of see it here in the background, so it is there. But overall, actually, it is kind of cool. I really do like the lines here and the mixture of the colors of the red and the black in there. But red and black almost always looks good, so you know it's kind of a given. But overall, that's it for the painting. I actually do kind of like it. Again, if it was a little cleaner in the areas where the white was, obviously I just should have just waited for it to dry. But it's really hot in here and it's late, so I'm going to bed. Anyways, just wanted to show you that technique and. Like I said, Thomas's Instagram will be linked in the description area below because I think he's a phenomenal artist and just drew some inspiration from some of his artwork recently and wanted to share that with you guys. And it's just something fun to do. So anyways, guys, that's it. I'll see you in the next one. Take care. God bless and see you then. Bye, guys.